Hello, welcome to Sufra's Pop Culture Channel. I'm Sufra, and today we're talking about American Horror Story again. Last night was the 100th episode of the franchise, and although the episode was competent, it didn't feel like a celebratory episode, but I guess we don't want to disrupt the actual storytelling of what's happening in the story to do some kind of crazy cameo filled 100th episode, whatever. So, our story is actually continuing on and it's actually making sense, and it's almost a little too, I don't know, on the nose or something. So, we left 1984. No Big Brother, or maybe there is Big Brother, because we do have the whole watching cameras and videos and things that I still have hope they may touch on the Orwellian aspects of 1984. So, anyways, so last night, now we have our ghost campers, Cody Fern, Billy Lord, and a bunch of other people. Um, Including the original kids who were massacred at the camp. And then, as people die at Camp Redwood over the years or decades, their ghosts are accumulating, I guess. I don't know if they're all there, but certainly we got to see Billy Lord and Cody Fern do a bit of slaughtering. Cody was a lot of fun because, much like how he was cast as the Antichrist in the previous season, now he was supposedly a good boy until he got put in the oven, which of course is reminiscent of his Antichrist because he's in hell and burning and bubbling and all that. And then now that he's dead, he even makes a comment, that it's so much more fun to be evil. And of course, we had Billy Lord, who was enjoys killing and stuff before she died. So now in death, she's doing that too. Then we have one of the campers, the party boy. I can't remember the actor's name. Um, he's getting a little. It's like, why you shouldn't be killing people. We don't know there was this whole rules about being a ghost. And sorry, I'm just looking up the actor. Sugar. Is it Deron Horton? I think that's the one playing the one I'm talking about. So he's like, we don't know the rules of this ghost and stuff, and maybe we shouldn't keep killing. Maybe we're supposed to do good things, or we don't know how long we're going to be here. Are we here forever? Is there some way to move on and all this sort of stuff? But Cody Fern and Billy Lord just kind of laugh at him. It's like, we like killing people, so we're just going to keep doing that. We're dead anyways. What more is there to do, kind of thing, right? And so the slaughter continues on there. And then meanwhile, as I mentioned before, the previous episode, we left with Night Stalker and Mr. Jingles on a car ride heading to LA. And then now, of course, it's a year later. And so somehow Mr. Jingles got the Night Stalker turned in. He uh, through a convoluted thing, giving a newspaper article to a woman. Then they all realized Night Stalker was Night Stalker. So this community of people, Mexican people, in fact, went and got him good, and I guess he ended up in jail where Brooke is. And then Mr. Jingles went on to create a new life, a way, and the idea is that Mr. Jingles was never the murderer. He was put into the psychiatric hospital wrongly and so on. But we have seen him kill. He killed the dude, that. In the hospital to escape. He has killed people, and he's not innocent and all that. And so, but anyways, he goes on to reinvent himself, has a nice quiet life. I think it's Alaska, gets a wife, has a kid. It doesn't, the wife is a former prostitute. He's a murderer, but now they're living a clean, fresh life with the baby. And he works at Blockbuster, Be Kind, Rewind. They made a little joke about that. They didn't call it Blockbuster, but we knew what they meant. Any of us who were around in the 80s knew exactly what was happening there. It was kind of fun to see. And kids are trying to rent horror movies, and he puts like terms of endearment and stuff in their video cases because he wants people to be happy and not think sad, murderous thoughts and stuff. But anyways, we all know that's going to end badly, and it did. Um, so then we also saw Brooke, who, Emma Emma Roberts, my favorite, and she's in jail. She got convicted of all the murders, what, 11 murders or 13 or however many they decided she was responsible for. And so she's on death row, gets lethal injection, and meanwhile, Night Stalker's in the same prison somehow. I couldn't determine if he's really there or he's a ghost, but I guess he was really there on death row. So I guess it's a co-ed prison. I don't know. Um, I don't know much about the prison system, so especially in the 80s, so whatever, because he was mocking her. She was walking, doing dead man walking kind of thing, and trying to get her to sell her soul to Satan so that she can continue on. But meanwhile, Night Stalker takes the next step of asking for immortality, because he already has sold his soul to Satan, because he's died a couple times, we've seen. So now he wants immortality, and so he ends up being freed near the end of the episode by prison guard, because demon takes over, whatever. And Mr. Jingles comes home from work, finds his wife dead, and goes and gives the baby to the sister. He doesn't really explain himself very well, but I guess that's part of his character. He could have said, "I came home and my wife was slaughtered, and now I'm running away because, like, they're coming for me next, and I know who did it." But no, he just says all this cryptic stuff that makes it sound like he's the one that killed his wife. So whatever. Of course, he gets on the old raincoat poncho thing and has his keys jingling, so he's back to being Mr. Jingles. And it was interesting because when Night Stalker was trying to convince Brooke to convert to Satanism, he was going on about the methods of how they kill people and all the needles, and how they have these needles that paralyze you, so you can feel the burning, but people watching you die aren't seeing you twitching and writhing and frothing and stuff. So when we see Brooke getting needles, and then her presumably dead corpse is wheeled into another room and gets another needle, and she wakes up. And then we see the person who's been administering the needles all along was Nurse Rita from the camp. Or was it Rita, or what's her real name? The psychiatrist who killed the camp nurse who who freed Mr. Jingles. Now she's accumulating with Brooke. And Night Stalker's a little pissed that Brooke wouldn't convert to Satanism. Brooke theoretically is still a good girl, maybe not anymore. We don't know, because the episode ended with her waking up. So it was an interesting story, I guess. I don't know. It didn't feel as compelling, I guess is the word, as some other seasons and episodes of American Horror Story are. I've said it before. The guy who plays Night Stalker, I love him. He's fantastic. He's sexy and evil and all the things we love in our American Horror Story men. And he's doing a great job. And Mr. Jingles, of course, is the actor was the one who played Twisty the Clown previously. Then, oh yes, and so we have Margaret, who was, the Christian woman who bought the summer camp, but actually was the original serial killer and collecting the ears and all that. And then she went off and married the dude with the ginormous penis. And she's super wealthy because she had inherited a lot of money. And so she's buying up, this is what I thought was really cool. She's buying up all the kind of haunted serial killer or murder houses or whatever across the country. So she's bought like the Winchester Mansion, and they did a little riff on the Lizzie Borden house, how she bought the Lizzie Borden house, and they talked about it for a couple minutes. I was hoping they were actually going to take us there, because I've been to Lizzie Borden house. I've stayed overnight there 8 times, and it's terrifying, without any bells and whistles that Leslie Grossman's character was discussing. And so anyway, so she's trying to buy the Edgin farm, but then the people, she couldn't get it there. So what she does is she buys up these places and makes them into kind of like haunted attractions or whatever. And it's that fine line because someone like me would love to go to these things. Yet it is morbid, it's disrespectful to the victims and all this stuff. Yet on the other hand, these are historical mass murder serial killers, interesting places to be. She bought Spawn Ranch, which Charles Manson observers or scholars, whatever you want to call those of us that know about the Manson case, even casual people now, after seeing Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, know a little more. So we know Spawn Ranch is where the family lived, and so she bought up that too, and she's put in an amusement park, and so John Wayne Gacy's place, as she put in clowns and stuff. And so it's really interesting. So she bought Camp Redwood, which she apparently already owned. It was a little confusing, and her assistant, who's been in several other episodes of American Horror Story, um, it was a little ambiguous whether she still owned Camp Redwood or not. But she's making a rock concert festival, and it reminded me a bit of Shades of Firefest when they were saying, oh, the rich people will stay in the cabins and stuff, because I've watched a couple episodes of a couple of documentaries on the fire festival and what a nightmare it was. I saw an episode of American Greed, and then the documentary that was on Netflix and stuff. So I felt like that was a little riff to that when they're trying to make a rock concert. They're gonna have Billy Idol. So of course, Night Stalker, going back to Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez, he see, they already set up earlier in the episode that he loves Billy Idol, and he loves a lot of like Ozzy Osbourne and all these types of groups that were big at the time and actually still are, because no bands have come to take over this hardcore heavy metal rock and roll kind of sound. Anyway, so he sees the flyer that Billy Idol's going to be there, so that's why he had to break out of prison and you know become immortal to go see a Billy Idol concert. So anyway, so it's all going to come full circle. We only have 3 episodes left, I believe, in the story. So I guess we're all going to Camp Redwood. So we'll see all these ghosts. We'll see these rock stars, Margaret and Night Stalker, and all the serial killers are going to meet again. Mr. Jingles has now heard that this is happening as well. So I guess the climax will be something happening at a big rock concert. I don't know. But hey, if they have Billy Idol, I would be even happy. Like, I don't know if they're going to bring him in, but that would be very cool. Then I also just wanted to mention, as a bit of an aside, is that I do not miss the heavy hitters that are usually in. Like we had Jessica Lange many seasons, and it was pretty much the Jessica Lange show. And then we had Lady Gaga a couple of times, and Sarah Paulson certainly made her way to stardom through this series, and sort of like a younger, she's like the young version of Jessica Lange. She's like the new Jessica Lange, I guess. But so they're not, none of those three ladies are in this episode, this season so far. As far they still could show up, but I doubt it. I don't miss them. I like the fact that we have fresh new faces or semi new faces, and that the faces that we do know are being given different types of roles than usual. I've already opined several times now about how Emma Roberts is now playing a sweet girl, Billy Lord is now playing evil girl. Then we all discovered Cody Fern during assassination of Giovanni Versace, and that's where I discovered him, and fell in love with him. And then playing Michael last year, the big heavy bad guy against Billy Lord's good girl. So it's all interesting. I like seeing these people, and who knows? Maybe Evan Peters or Finn Whitrock or someone may come back for the last few episodes. I've been trying not to look at spoilers. I do know a couple people are coming back, but I've been trying not to look to see who exactly it is, so I won't spoil it for you either. I like to be surprised, and so we have definitely the threads of connections to other episodes are happening as well, but I want to keep this video short. And so this is just kind of a little recap of what happened last night. I'm still engaged, still I don't feel like they've fallen off the rails, although I do want them to ratchet up the pacing and stuff. I know we got a lot of ground covered last night, but it did feel like one of those episodes where it's kind of being set up for, the next act or the next round of things that are going to happen. All right, so what did you think? Are you enjoying this season? What season is your favorite season of American Horror Story? Let me know in the comments and have a great day.